Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. We've got a couple of games featuring the Škoda T56. This is the Tier 8 Swedish Czech premium heavy tank. It's located on the south spawn of Siegfried line in this one, and it's under the command of Konopnik of OLIMP. Well, this heavy tank has a 13cm gun, 2-clip magazine, or 2-shot in the clip, in an automatic magazine. So it's capable of doing 460 alpha and penetrating 208mm of armor with standard ammunition, and with the premium rounds, which is what Konopnik's loading straight away, 248mm. So you're getting an increase of about 40mm of extra penetration by using the premium ammo, and he's loading his first clip as the premium, and then he's selected to go to the automatically standard AP afterwards. It's quite a deadly tank because, in technically speaking, you can do 920 hit points of damage fairly quickly. That was a low roll on the Charfuture, and I think he's about to, oh, he tried to get a 105 into us, but he couldn't. And now he's kind of, oh, yes, he's got him. Yes. So he gets his second shot in, and he gets a high roll on the second one to compensate for that first low roll. And now he's got into cover so the enemy can't get at him. But just look at what's gone opposite there. We've got a Charfuture 4, 2 Škoda T56s gone into the area opposite him. He's loaded, ready to go. Oh, look at that. Can't pass up the lure. That long 3.5 second reload actually stops him from getting more damage straight away, but he did get a shot into the Char, and the Char is now down, taken out by the Scorpion. So, good start to the game. No kill for Konopnik yet, but I think he's actually earned himself, well, just under 2,000 hit points. Oh, and he's now clipped that Škoda in exactly the right spot and got him twice. The first shot was a low roll, second shot was a high roll. So now he's up to just under 3k of damage, and the game's only been going for just over 2 minutes. That's a phenomenal damage rate. Now the Škoda T56 is a design from the 1950s. Well, I suppose with the name 56 it was probably designed late 60s. Oh, he got a fire! Yep, he got a fire on the Škoda. He managed to put it into the engine bay and hit the fuel tanks. So that guy has lost a fair amount of hit points from the fire alone, 159. He's very aware that there are enemies fairly close, not just these guys around the corner here, but also a bit further away. Oh, he did take one round in the tracks, but the Škoda's gone down. Yeah, that's the problem, playing in that little enclosed area. If you're not careful, you can get taken out fairly easily. And the lure managed to avoid damage, but we took a 13cm round from the T103 behind us. And so now he has to get into cover, because otherwise that T103 could go to work on him, and he could lose a lot of hit points. So he's decided to use the cover that's available, and of course he's also using the wrecks that are there. There's the T103. Remember, those things got fairly thin armor, and he gets one in. Yeah, the other one bounced off the turret, which is the strong point of the T103, and he was looking in our direction, so we probably hit the hardest armor on his vehicle. Okay, the reload, the standard reload, 23.97 seconds. Konopnik's got 22.44. But that is for 2 shells, remember, not 1, 2. Can you get a shot there? No. So he's only got the 1 kill so far, but he has racked up 4.2k, and oh, that was perfect! Right into the rear of the turret on the Defender, into the bustle. And the Defender goes down to our Renegade. Now he's turning around because I think he sees the E75, but he pops the reload instead of going for it with just 1 shell. I think he wants to maximise his damage. He's still working on AP at the moment, standard AP, but he has burned a lot of premium rounds. obviously trying to maximize the damage from those Škodas. Okay, now this is quite an open position here. Looking to the north. Remember that T103 is still out there. Oh, and he forgot about him. But he's paid for it now because, of course, the Škoda, the C103 did put one in. And if he doesn't get back in time into this cover, he might take another round. Okay, we've got a SMVCC. He's in the town and he's just around the corner from where we can see him there. So we'll pop into view. There he is. We tried to get him into a weak spot, actually hit the tracks. That one did go in, and he got a fire again. And 200 hit points off the fire. Almost as good as a single shot. Not quite though, but he's up to 5.3k now. And the SMV, I think, well, he's probably feeling fairly sorry for himself because he's lost a huge amount of hit points. Okay, we've only got one round left, so he's only got one round loaded. I don't hope he realises that, because he's going to find that he comes in for a two-shot and finds he's only got one. Yes, might be better to load. Yes, he actually did spot that. Good. Yeah, smart guy. He actually picked up on it. Could be awkward. You come around the corner, you wait for the second shot, and all of a sudden you suddenly realise, oh my god, I'm in reload. No, it didn't fool him. He knew what was wrong. Okay, now SU-130PM takes a big hit. He's out the game in one shot. Pop the reload straight again so he can get 2 shells in the breach. He backed up there because the Barask on the enemy team managed to get a kill on his Renegade. And I think he's wondering, can I get the Barask from a different angle? Because the Barask managed to sneak in and pump a 105mm round in, and I don't think he wants the same to happen to him. So I think he's now trying to approach the Barask from a different route, and hopefully he'll catch him out. He's trying to circumvent these buildings. If he can get round the corner, the Barask is probably waiting in ambush for him to suddenly appear from a different direction. He's not there. There he is! We found him. Now he's going to be ready. Oh, no, he's not ready enough. And he gets the kill. And now he spots an SDA-1 out in the distance. And he's full, well, nearly full health. He's popped the reload again to maximise his damage. The rest of the team are going after that enemy, which is an SDA-1. And we can shoot at him or snipe at him from a long way away. We're still waiting for the reload to go in, but I think he's going to get a chance. If we're lucky, top of the turret. Let it settle. No, just went over the top. Can he get another one in? Yes, he does! 446, which is a low roll, but he's still got one shot in. Lowered the health of that guy enough so his teammates could actually get the kill. The Leopard Prototype A got the kill. Now we've got a Striv 1030 out the field to the north. He's one of the last 2 left alive on the enemy team. They've only got an Arty up than this, and the Arty for 212A is probably out way into the field in grid square A1 or thereabouts. But they've isolated the Striv, and he's trying to approach from a different angle. Now the worry is if he's gone over the ridge line at A2, then he's going to get some nice shots. Oh no, but he's not. He's actually waiting in ambush, and he takes one. Go for the second. Yes, he gets both. Unfortunately, he does take one round from the Striv 103, and the 212A knows where he is and fires a shell at him with armor-piercing shell. Would you believe it? Doesn't take any damage though. He can take out the 212A at range. The Striv's gone. This is a long-range shot. He might as well make use of it. And he gets the kill with just one round. And that is the end of the game. Well, I have to say that was an excellent game by Konopnik, and he did play it tactically right as well. He didn't go full victim to that Barask. In fact, actually, he played it well enough that he actually caught him, even as the guy was trying to escape. He must have known that he had been found and he was about to be lined up for a kill, and he was running away as fast as he could. And then, of course, he took the opportunity to take shots where he could. He didn't try to go out for that SDA1. He knew his teammates were close enough so that they could actually get the kill themselves. So he wasn't going to try and run to the south to try and take that guy out. Instead, he let them get the kill after getting one shot in to maximize his damage, and then headed north for the final kills of the game. He managed to get an ace tanker out of that one, as well as a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He ended up with 4 exactly. He also got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle, and a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits in this game. He managed to get 8. He got the highest damage in that game easily, as well, and a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, despite the fact that he actually got 4 kills. So that's pretty impressive, because to get a Confederate on top, that means you have to hit more than 10 tanks in order to score a Confederate or have a chance of getting one. His win rate from that one was 14,288, which shows that he's well practiced in the Škoda. He knows all the ins and outs of this tank, and it can actually generate quite a hefty return. In fact, he generated more hit points than the hit points of his own vehicle, which is only 1,500, within 2 minutes of the game starting. In fact, he generated much more than that. So very impressive game, and you have to scroll the page to see everything that he did. But let's have a look at the team scores. Well, the highest damage in the game turned out to be 7,802 hit points. The second highest was his teammate, actually, in the Škoda T56. They weren't in platoon, but he managed 3,725, and the third highest damage in the game turned out to be the Malshan, 2,871. Wow, and the highest on the enemy team was their E75 with only 2,855. When it came to kills, yep, he got the highest of those. 4 kills, shared it with the other Škoda, so they were both keen on killing the enemy and had a good tank to do it with. And the highest on the enemy team was only 3, and so he's actually in joint second place, well, second place, not joint second place. And there's a number of tanks with 2 kills apiece. When it came to base XP, yep, you don't see that all that often, but it does happen occasionally. He's got over 2,000 base. 2,000 base, 2,070 to be precise. The nearest player to him was the other Škoda, and he only had 1,290. But on any other game, that would be a very, very good score indeed. But to get 2,000 base, yeah, that's it. That's epic. That really is a good game indeed. The next highest after that being the Renegade, who got sub 1,000. He got 993, 7 hit points below 1,000. I think he would feel happy with that. That's a pretty good score. But to get 2,000 showed that Konopnik actually dominated this game. Really was. He was carrying it on his back all the way. Let's have a look at detail. Oh, before I go, actually, you do realise he got the top in all 3 columns. I forgot to mention that, but it is important to mention it when you do get it, because it's an achievement in its own right to get all the top in all 3 columns. If we look at detail, we can see he fired 22 rounds in that game, got 19 direct hits on the enemy and 17 penetrations. Damage of 7,802 hit points, of which 906 were at more than 300 meters. I'm pretty sure the shot on the 212A and the Strib 1030 were both at longer than 300 meters. They were, and of course maybe the STA one as well. He received 5 hits from the enemy during the game, but only 3 of them actually penetrated. The T103 actually did have an opportunity to do that. 2 non-penetrating shots as well, 460 hit points of damage blocked by armor. He spotted 3 enemy vehicles, damaged 12 of the enemy, so actually got better than 10, and killed 4, and 524 hit points of damage assistance. He earned 203,715 credits from the battle, and after repair, ammunition, resupply, and consumables, and yes, he did fire a lot of premium ammo, but look at that, 103,865 credits profit. Even if he just had on free-to-play account, he would have made a profit on this game because he was just doing so much damage and killing so many enemy tanks. 3,105 XP, 311 for this being a premium vehicle, and took away 3,416 experience points altogether. So that's a very, very good score, and it's going to be difficult to beat, but we do have another replay for you featuring the very same tank, and it's not the same player. No, because as good as Konopnik is, and he is good, you're going to see other players who do like this tank a lot and are getting great results. So let's see the second replay. In this replay, we've got Jamie2006 in the Škoda T56, and we're on the Live Oaks map. Now, Jamie's only got 1 mark of excellence on the barrel, but knowing Jamie, it won't be long before he's got more. Again, he's another of these players who loves this tank because he gets great results with it. And he's loaded the standard AP to start with. As I say, it's normally a 3.5 seconds delay intra-clip for the second round to go in. Only 2 rounds in the clip. And of course, the reload time standard is 23.97 seconds. Oh, he's been spotted. They've got a scout, so he dips below the line. And now we can see where that scout is. Although I can't make it out. It's a S3AL actually. And there's an LTTB over there, or a little further away, who's taking considerable damage and has just expired to our SMV CC67. Oh! Well, we get hit in the tracks by the S3AL before we get to the mound of earth. There's 2 Arty on the enemy team, a 212A and a GW Tiger, so you don't want to stick around for too long, because the Arty might get the impression that you're willing to offer yourself up as a target. I expect the Arty rounds to start raining down very shortly, unless of course they're looking to the south, and it might be that that's exactly what they're doing at the moment, and that's why we're not hearing any rounds coming in. Well, he's managed to get in round the corner, and I forgot that I'd actually had it on free view. Sorry about that. I like to have free view at the start of the video so you can actually have a look at the tank itself and any modifications the players actually made to it, but sometimes I forget to switch over, and then obviously the player actually does take a shot at someone and I missed out on it. Now he's decided to disengage from the S3AL for the moment, so the guy doesn't know exactly where he is. And I think he's just going to sneak around the corner and try and get him. The worry is that he might get shot at from a different direction. And oh, there's a 252U. He managed to dip into cover fairly quickly, but I think he's going to back up. Is he going to back up? Hello! Bang! Right into his engine bay. Didn't get a chance for a second shot. Oh, we do, yes. And in fact, actually, it is a gotcha. So he did get the kill. Now he's not loaded, and he went round the corner. And oh, suddenly remembered the S3AL. We've got a free shot into him. Thankfully, it's only a 90mm round, I think. So not so bad in terms of damage. It could have been a lot worse. Pumps one in and gives the S3AL what for. He's having to pull back because he knows that there's another round coming. And there you go. There's your game. Yep, so he's got 2 kills now. Very quickly. Did take some damage though. He's down to 2/3 of his hit points left. Gonna wait here a second until he's unspotted. But now he's almost loaded. It's rather unfortunate and inconvenient sometimes that you're not loaded when you want to be. And there's 2 targets sitting out there, 3 targets actually. Pumps one into the Super Pershing. Gets a nice hit into the engine bay area. Guy's changed direction, so he's probably hard armoured towards us now. He offers us the side of his turret because he got distracted and takes another shell into reload again. Jamie's got 22.44 seconds, which is very similar to the level earned by Konopnik, so they've probably got the same configuration. Our teammates are now at the enemy cap area. We're not capping, at least not yet. Hopefully they realise that because we're 1 down, it wouldn't be a good idea to do that. Not at the moment. In fact, the enemy's got our cap area, but look at this Škoda T56, thank you very much. Didn't get it. Did not get the hit there. I wonder what happened to that shell. Ah, but we'll take the super Pershing if we can. Yes, we can. And that's a kill. 3 kills now. You notice one of those shells actually bounced off the roof of the Škoda. The armour on this vehicle is pretty good on the turret. 220mm at the front, 95 at the side, 70 at the rear. So strong turret, and it's got 6 degrees of gun depression. But the hull is 100mm at the front, so it's fairly weak hull. And we just took a near miss from the 212A, who's now focusing on us. And I suspect that he's over somewhere in the dip, a little further south from their cap area. Because if he can't be at the cap area, because we've got that now. So, yes, he's obviously paying attention to us, because obviously he sees that Jamie has actually got 3 kills, and he probably realises that, yes, Jamie's the one you've got to watch out for, because he's probably going to take out your teammates. He's just creeping forward at the moment, hoping he's unspotted. Oh, and here we see again. Now, this is a bad move for the Progetto. He gets hit in the tracks, but we're about to punch another one into him, into the engine bay. Unfortunately, we took 1 penetration from the from an enemy Škoda, and that was it. We didn't get pinned by the enemy Progetto, thankfully. We blocked a shot, which was an APCR from a T44 out there, and from the looks of it, the T44 had the 100mm gun. And we've got the Progetto again, 2 shots, and he's out the game. 1. Nicely done, but we were spotted, which means Arty will probably lob one in again. So he's getting into cover to avoid that and popping his reload and going for 2 more rounds of AP, and that's the last 2 rounds that Jamie's got available, which means from now on he's going to be relying on the armor piercing, special armor piercing, which is the premium round. Okay, so he's got a bit of cover there. Oh, the T44 again popped up. Now, even remember, he couldn't pen us with standard, and 1 round is enough to go into it, but we've got a problem, because that wreck behind us is actually causing us problems. The enemy's still got both their Arty, but for that matter, so have we. Okay, what have we got over here? There's the... is that the Škoda? Yes, and he killed him with 1 shot. And now that T44, who's spotting for his team almost, he probably realises that he can't do a whole lot of damage to us. But Jamie is so enticing because he's down to just 39 hit points. And, well, the T44 probably thinks to himself, well, I can deal with that if I can get a shot in the right spot. And the right spot in this tank would be the rear, because the rear is only 70mm. In fact, the sides are only 70mm, so he's got to get a good shot into a weak area if he wants to get a kill. Either that, or he's got to wait for Arty to do it for him. Now, Arty could definitely kill Jamie, so Jamie really does need to be careful. But luckily, the enemy are now down by 2, and the last one they lost was the T44, so he's no longer spotting, which means Jamie is unspotted and he can do some damage. He's heading back to the south edge of the map, because that's where the enemy are locked up at the moment, in the woods behind our cap area. They're locked up because the Progetto's on the railway line, the rest of the team in this side, so they can't escape. And in fact, they're trying. The Canonian Jagdpanzer came across and he's just been wiped out. This is not the best place to be shooting from, because you haven't got good gun depression. There's only 6 degrees. You can see T30 trying to make his way to the gap. Takes 1 in the side, gets wiped out, and he was tracked at the same time. Go for the second one, kill the M4. Oh, he didn't get it, but the Arty did. And, or did it? Was it the Arty? No, it wasn't. It was a Progetto 54, and our team got the kill. I thought it was Arty. I saw an Arty round arcing in. I thought our guys had got him. We can see now that the enemy have only got the Arty left, so they're blind as a bat, or at least not that blind, but they can't see us. And there we go. Just let it settle. Nice kill. That's his top gun. Can we get another kill? GW Tiger. He's behind the house. It's worth taking a shot, even with a reload. And oh, he misses out. And he's platooned. Or did he? No, he didn't get a chance to right at the end, but he did take a bit of damage, as you can see. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was another ace tanker for Jamie2006 in the Škoda T56. He managed to get a fire effect in that game for getting more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him in the game, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, in fact he got 7, a hand of God for surviving the battle having received damage from 4 different enemy tanks or more, and he also picked up a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game, a top gun for getting at least 6 kills, and a steel wall as well for blocking the most damage in the game. And his win rate wasn't quite as high as Konopnik. No, he managed 7,828, but I think most people would be very happy with such a score like that, because after all it is Super Unicum and quite a bit more. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, we can see definitely got the highest damage with 5,132 hit points from that game. Very well done. The next highest scorer was the T30 on the enemy team. He got 4,024. And the third highest damage was the AMX M451 on the enemy team with 3,288. And that appeared to be the best players on their team. But they were quite outmatched by the guys on Jamie's team. We can see that when it came to kills, Jamie's got that as well. He got 6 kills in that game. 4 kills went to the Progetto 54. 3 kills went to the AMX M451, and then the next highest player after that was the T30 with only 2 kills. So you can see Jamie picked up 6, his Progetto got 4, AMX M451 3, and the T30 2. Yes, I think we know that these pair are the best players in the game. When it came to base XP, Jamie's got that one as well. So yet again, another player who's got the top in all 3 columns. Jamie managed 1,608, not quite as high as Konopnik, but still incredibly good for this tank. Because, of course, remember, the standard for this tank is very high. It's a very difficult, well, it's a good tank to play, but it's a difficult tank to play well. So to get a high base XP, you have to have played it well. The next highest was the Progetto 54. He got 1,067. They were the only 2 players who managed to get over 1,000 base in the game. And the next highest was the Carnarvon, who only got 707. So you can see, basically, this pair between them managed to get 2/3 of the enemy team. And they were easily the best players in the game altogether between them as well. And you have to look at that and say, well, 7,500 or 7,600 hit points of damage between them. Yes, I think they really dominated the enemy, and it was Jamie who was doing most of the domination, and he was doing so from a fairly difficult position as well amongst those houses. Let's have a look at the detail report. He only fired 17 rounds in this game, got 15 direct hits on the enemy and 13 penetrations. Damage of 5,132 hit points of total, of which 1,445 were at more than 300 meters. He received 11 hits, so he only just qualified for the steel wall, but 11 hits, 6 penetrated. Yeah, that's a lot of penetrations. And he did lose a fair bit of hit points. In fact, actually, he went down to a 1-shot. In fact, actually, one of the Artys could have splash killed him if they'd managed to put a round near him, but they couldn't see him and they didn't know where he was, so that's why they didn't even try. 5 non-penetrations as well, blocked by the armor, and 1 hit by way of splash damage. That was from the 212A, who tried to get him early on in the game, but just gave up after that. And I'm a bit surprised at why they did that, because they should have seen that Jamie was the best player in the game, and therefore he was the one they had to try and get out as quickly as possible, otherwise they were going to lose. He also blocked damage of 1,520 hit points in total. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, damaged 8 of the enemy, killed 6, 1,477 hit points of damage assistance. I think some of that was spotting, some of that was actually track damage which he caused, and which enabled his teammates to get the kills. He earned 147,594 credits on a premium count, that's for the battle, and from personal reserves he got 73,797 credits, 221,391 credits altogether. And because he used standard ammo in this game, yep, standard ammo most of the way, he actually managed to earn 125,946 credits on a premium count and he would have earned a profit even if he was on a free-to-play account in this one, because he was so good. 2,412 XP from the battle, times 2 for the first victory, 241 for this being a premium vehicle, took away 5,065 experience points altogether. What can I say? The Škoda T56 is a bit of a beast. Most people know that it's a two-shot wonder, in fact, a bit like the Barras, but more to it. And that's why it's very, very dangerous tank to come across. Let's have a quick look at the armor. Here's the armor profile for the Škoda T56. If we look at the collision model, you can see that there's brows on the turret. Yes, those brows actually do stop you shooting at the actual turret itself, because the armor's pretty strong here. 220mm just underneath the brows, but the brows do add 50mm of impacted armor as well, so the total goes up to 280. So most players learn to fire at this spot here, which is the cupola, which is only 170mm impacted armor with 192.6, and if you can catch this little corner here, it goes down to 155, but the effective armor goes to 203 because it's angled. So yes, this is what you aim for on the Škoda T56 if you can get it. The upper plate is only 100mm with effective 154, but it's very well angled, you can see there, so chances are you might bounce off it. Lower plate is even stronger. It's only 85mm, but it's incredibly well angled, and that means that it's actually coming up to 194, 195, depending on where you hit. And again, you've got a very high chance of a shell not penetrating and actually ricocheting off. So you're much better off aiming for the cupola rather than going for the brows or anywhere else. If you can get it side scraping, remember it's his angled here as well. So again, another chance of a ricochet. 70mm here with 163. So you might want to go for the drive wheels actually more than anything, just to get the shell to go through, to stop the thing in its place, and then hit it with the another round through the side. The armor is actually, well, as you can see from the cast turret, the idea being that you've got more armor down below than you have up top. And this graduated armor reduces the weight to a certain extent, but of course it makes it more difficult to penetrate. It's only 96mm at the side, and at the rear you can see it's still thin. In fact, it's even thinner, 70mm there. Roof of the tank is only 30mm, and the engine deck the same. So I'm afraid that's a no-no as well, and you're not going to, Arty is going to get through that one easily. Let's have a quick look at the live model. You can see the live model, that yes, the turret is again big no-no, but the green bit is what you should aim for, the cupola or the upper plate if you can. Let's have a quick look at the modules. The modules is a bit of a problem really, because Wargaming haven't supplied the module map to Armoured Inspectors, so we can't actually see exactly where people are. All we can say is that we know the driver is up front and he's on the right hand side as we can see it. We know that the commander is going to be on the right hand side of the tank behind the gunner who's got the next sight, so we can only guess that the loader is on the left hand side of the turret, feeding tanks into the automatic system, the auto loading system, the magazine. So probably there's an ammo rack in the bustle, very likely, and the loader on this side. Ooh, picked up the turret there. Let's go back round. Yes, so we know that the loader is on the left, the commander on the right, and the gunner on the right, and all we can say is the driver down below. Other than that, probably the engine in the rear, fuel tank probably either side of the vehicle, and probably an ammo rack underneath the turret itself, but deep down inside the hull of the body. And that's everything that I can guess about the modules for this tank, but sadly we don't have all the rest. So I hope you enjoyed both of those replays. They were absolute scorchers of games, they really were. And it was amazing to see the Konopnik game where he started off and he literally just piled his way through those enemies. He had enough hit points to cover his battle within the first minute or bit of the game. It was a huge amount of damage in a very, very quick time indeed. and then to see how Jamie handled it later on. Obviously, a very unusual place to carry out your battle from, in between those houses, but they do tend to give you some cover because they are indestructible. They can't be destroyed. The only problem is they do give the enemy avenues that they could shoot down to actually get hits into you whilst you're between the buildings. So he did take some damage from the enemy, but he did get an awful lot of hits on the enemy in return. So yes, maybe that's a decent place that you can fight the battle in if you don't want to go into the town. So I hope you enjoyed both those replays. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.